Prabhu, namaste. So we'll just chant for 30 minutes and there'll be the class.
Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya, Bhutale, Shrimate Siddha, Swarupananda, Paramahamsa, Iti Namine. Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya, Bhutale, Shrimati Siddha, Swarupananda, Paramahamsa, Iti Namine. Namo Siddha, Swarupananda, Paramahamsa, Namine, Gaura Karuna, Swarupaya, Radha Krishna, Prastayate, Namo Siddha, Swarupananda, Paramahamsa, Namine. Radha Krishna, Prastayate, Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda,
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda,
Shri Advaita
Gadadhara, Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda, Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda.
Raja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shri Vasudeva Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Gopala,
Jayam Vishnupat Paramahansa Parirajagasatara Sadashishima Jagakuru Siddhasarupananda Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupat Paramahansa Parirajagasatara Sadashishima His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Gaura Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Prema se kaho Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhattacharya Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura's World Mission Ki Jai. Navadvita ki jai. Shishi Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhana ki jai. Vrindavan ki jai. Mathura ki jai. Mayapur ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Jamuna Mai ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Haribol, namaste. Amagina timirandasya gina gina salakaya chaksurun militanyena tajmai Shri Guruve namaha. Shri Chaitanya manobhistam statpitam yena bhutale swayam rupa karamayam dadati swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalan Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Raganatham Vitam Tam Sajevam Sadvitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhi Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanshakapa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanan Pavenbhyo Vaishnavbhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrindam. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale. Srimate Siddha-swarupananda Paramahansa Niti Namine. Namo Siddha-swarupananda Paramahansa Namine. Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayate. Before speaking, first I offer my respectful obeisances under the lotus feet of my spiritual master, Jagakuru Siddhasarupananda Srila Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at his lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada is the mercy manifestation of Lord Chaitanya, Gaura Karuna Swarupaya, and very dear to Radha and Krishna, Radha Krishna Prastayate. And I offer my respects to all of you, the devotees of Krishna, who are like wish-fulfilling trees, able to fulfill all the desires of the living beings, and are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Hare Krishna. So, the other night, Friday night, I was speaking in Healing Chart 108, and at the end of the class I read some of the verses at the end of chapter 18 by Sanjaya to Dhritarashtra, and I might just read one of the verses again, which was 1876. O King, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Kṛṣṇa and Arjuna. I take pleasure, being thrilled at every moment. Hrishami cha muha muhuhu. So I take pleasure, being thrilled at every moment. So Sanjaya, as he's recalling the wonderful conversation between Kṛṣṇa and Arjuna, it's like his, in a previous verse he says his hair is standing on end and he's being thrilled at every moment. In other words, Bhagavad Gita is so exciting. It's a wonderful transcendental literature that we should all dive into and take pleasure in and be thrilled at every moment. Like the words of Kṛṣṇa are non-different from Kṛṣṇa. There's no difference between Krishna's form, his name, his qualities, his pastimes, and his instructions, his speaking. So by studying Bhagavad Gita, it's another way to associate with Kṛṣṇa. So we're with Kṛṣṇa as he gives his divine guidance and instructions to Arjuna. And we can meditate upon these and use our intelligence to try and understand them. Kṛṣṇa describes this as the sacrifice of knowledge, and that we worship him with our intelligence when we study Bhagavad Gita. So, please, I beg you all to please take the opportunity to study Bhagavad Gita. Read the verses. It can be very helpful actually to read just the verses, perhaps reading a chapter a day, or something like that, number of verses, and that helps you to understand the flow of Bhagavad Gita. I've been listening recently to a series of lectures that Tusta Kṛṣṇa Swami gave on Bhagavad Gita in Europe about, it must be, at least 25 years ago. Anyway, they're, super nice lectures, and anyway, Tusta was making the point about how beneficial it is to just read the verses of Bhagavad Gita so you can get a better sense of the flow of it. And he even proposed that one day at this retreat they would read the whole Bhagavad Gita, which might take a couple hours or so to read all the verses straight through. So anyway, I encourage you to read the verses like that. It'll help you to get the flow of Bhagavad Gita and perhaps understand it a little better. And of course, one should always study the purports of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who considered the purports to be the most important part of the Bhagavad Gita as it is. And as I mentioned also in one of the classes I've given in Healing Chant 108, that within the Bhagavad Gita as it is, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he gave us the Devanagari, which is the Sanskrit script, Deva referring to the gods, and Nagari referring to city. So it's like within the script, it's the city of the demigods, or the city of the gods. And then the word-for-word transliteration, so translating the Devanagari script into English characters, the English alphabet that we can recognize, and because there is more Sanskrit syllables than there are English letters, that's gave rise to the need for little diacritic symbols. For example, for na, the syllable na, N-A in English letters, there's actually 4 different Sanskrit sounds. The Sanskrit alphabet actually is very scientific, extremely scientific, taking into account the position of the tongue and the amount of breath. And it's all actually at the back of Bhagavad Gita as it is by Bhaktivedanta Swami, and actually in all of his different books, there's a description of the way the Sanskrit language is sounded and formed. So anyway, so there's the point was there's the transliteration and synonyms. So there's transliteration of the Devanagari into English characters, and then the synonyms, the English synonyms for the Sanskrit words. This is like the direct or literal translation of Bhagavad Gita. And then Srila Bhaktivedanta gave what's called a free-form translation, or a free translation, which means it's not literal. It's not a literal translation. Oftentimes people are very much like, oh, the English translations, this is exactly how it is. Actually, it's not quite. The synonyms gives you the literal translation. The English translation is like a free translation, where Bhaktivedanta Swami will put in connecting ideas. He might add to a thought. He'll link from the previous verse to the next verse. Sometimes he'll even put a whole purport in the translation. I particularly used to do this in the teachings. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and Srimad Bhagavatam, more so than in Bhagavad Gita. And then, of course, his purports, where he gives the true explanation and meaning of what Kṛṣṇa is saying and how to apply it in our circumstances. So as a whole, within Bhagavad Gita as it is, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is giving us like the complete Bhagavad Gita, the script, the transliteration with synonyms, a free translation, and a purport. And so Bhaktivedanta Swami's works were lauded by the Sanskrit scholars at universities, that it was so well done, so professionally done, that many of his books are used in Sanskrit courses at universities. So it's an incredible accomplishment, especially how many books Bhaktivedanta Swami translated like this. The Bhagavad Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, of course, is actually in Bengali, or what's actually what the Bengalis call Bangla. So it's not Sanskrit, but Bangla or Bengali is derived from Sanskrit. So Sanskrit is a very complex language, super complex. Has all kinds of cases, a bit like Latin. I don't know if any of you ever studied Latin. I had to do a bit of Latin at high school, which I passionately hated. But anyway, it's a very case sensitive. So there's like a root word, and then there's different endings that create different cases. So it's very grammatical. But if you can, the reason why the translation is a free translation is because the Sanskrit itself, it's all in it's poetry. So it's like, each of the 4 padas or quarter verses, there's generally speaking the 8 syllables, the anustep or sloka, meter, and it's rhyming, and it's a particular meter, particular combination of short and long syllables. So naturally, when you're speaking like that, there's a bit of poetic license taking place to make it all work within the meter. And oftentimes there's a lot of filler words, like cha, which means and eva, which means like. And so this sort of leads to why there needs to be free translation as opposed to just literal translation. So I kind of not quite sure why I digressed into that explanation, but I guess it was just part of my overall glorifying Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's works that he did, in such difficult circumstances. When he first came to the West, like when he first came to the West, he brought with him a trunk of Srimad Bhagavatams, just the first canto, and he'd spent actually several years translating first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, putting it into 3 volumes. And he would actually, he did everything. He did it all. So and again he had his very scholarly, the Devanagari, the synonyms and the transliteration, the translation, and then his purports. And so he would type it all up. He would typeset it. He would go into. He would generally do this in Delhi. He would generally do this in Vrindavan, where he'd actually do his typing, and then he would go to Delhi, where he would source the paper to print the books on, and then they would take the paper from wherever it was. Then he would go to the printer. The printer would print it. Then he would take it to the bookbinder, and get it bound. So he was doing all of this, of course, to save money. He would essentially beg from people to help finance. He would sell his Back to Godhead magazines to help finance the printing of the Bhagavatams. So then later on, he got the owner of the steamship, Srimati Moriji, I think her name was, who gave him passage on the Jaladuta. She financed the publication, I think, of the 2nd and 3rd volumes. And so once Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami had the 3 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, published, then he felt confident that he could go to the West. He had something to take with him. He was feeling like, well, if he just went on his own, but he didn't have the authorized literatures, people wouldn't really take him seriously. And he'd been encouraged in this. He used to, publish the Back to Godhead magazine and sell them on the streets. And then one day a gentleman said to him, people just discard magazines, you should print books. And so Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami took this very seriously and then began his work of translating Bhagavatam. And so when he first came to the West, it was actually sort of a number of different things that happened. They'd changed the immigration laws that actually allowed him to travel to America. Prior to that, he wouldn't have been allowed. So, and he got a passport, had to go through the whole hassle of getting a passport. Then he got passage on the Jaladuta, and he got his books published. So it all kind of coalesced. He brought the books to America with him, and then he actually supported himself by selling the Bhagavatams. So, you may all be familiar with the diary called the Jaladuta Diary, which was the diary he kept when he was on the ship coming from India to New York. And then when he got to New York, he also had a second diary that he kept. And in this diary, he would record Bhagavatam. He might have got $1. I can't remember what the amounts he would get, but a few dollars. And then he was very fastidious in keeping records at that time. And he would, write down bus fare, 35 cents, 2 bananas, 20 cents. So he financed himself through the sale of the Bhagavatams. So anyway, so he had the Bhagavatams, but then he wanted to give his disciples and the people in the West the Bhagavad Gita. So he had originally, when he was in India, he'd actually translated the Bhagavad Gita. And in fact, actually, he had done a couple of versions of Bhagavad Gita. He'd done one into English, which had taken him, of course, a long time, but it disappeared. It was stolen. And so this was, stolen or lost somehow. It was stolen because it was in his house, and then it was no longer there. And this was a great blow. You could imagine how much effort had gone into translating Bhagavad Gita and purports and so on, and only to have it lost. He did also translate into Bengali, and which he did in a very nice way. So anyway, I guess my point is like there is so much to Bhagavad Gita. So not only is there Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami's commentaries or his purports, as he was doing his purports on Bhagavad Gita, he had access to the previous commentaries of the Vaishnava Acharyas, and in particular, as I've mentioned several times, Srila Baladevi Vijayabhusana's commentary, which he followed quite closely within his purports. So anyway, we're up to chapter 2, text 10 of Bhagavad Gita, and this is very much a transition verse. So this is why we can perhaps feel, as Sanjaya was, a bit thrilled, because up to this point, chapter 1 has been like setting the scene a bit. It enables Bhagavad Gita to stand on its own, separate from the whole Mahabharata. One doesn't have to know very much about the Mahabharata to be able to read and understand and appreciate Bhagavad Gita. And so there's just enough of a in chapter 1 for the reader to sort of get the sense of Arjuna's situation, that it's a battlefield at Kurukshetra, that there's the two armies, that Arjuna's an important warrior, the general, the leader, that Kṛṣṇa is his charioteer, that Kṛṣṇa has taken him out into the middle of the battlefield. Then of course Arjuna goes through his essentially a meltdown or almost a nervous breakdown, where he loses control and his mind is reeling and so on. And he explains to Kṛṣṇa the different reasons why he doesn't want to fight. There's 5 different reasons that we've studied at length over the last several months. And then at the beginning of chapter 2, Kṛṣṇa chastises Arjuna, that how have these impurities come over you? It's like this weakness, miserly weakness. Well, actually Arjuna calls it miserly weakness, but Kṛṣṇa calls it weakness. How have these impurities come upon you? So he's essentially chastising Arjuna, or almost laughing at him. What's going on here, Arjuna? And Arjuna then sort of, after expressing a few more of his thoughts and sort of pushing back against Kṛṣṇa and saying, how can I kill people like Bhishma Dev and Drona Acharya, my beloved grandfather and my military teacher? You don't do that, Kṛṣṇa. You don't do that. You kill demons. Madhusudana, Arisudana, the killer of the Madhu demon and killer of demons. And then Arjuna then sort of looks at the battlefield and realizes, well, here I am. I really don't want to be here, but here I am. So then finally he turns to Kṛṣṇa and asks him to tell him definitely what is best for him. And he surrenders to Kṛṣṇa, not fully surrender, but surrendering enough to accept him as the spiritual teacher, coming to the point of realizing, I don't know what I should do. I don't know what is best for me. I don't know how I should act, what my duty is in this situation. And he turns for guidance to Kṛṣṇa, the original spiritual master. And so this is the point that this is like the beginning of surrender, or the beginning of spiritual life, as we turn to the spiritual master, the representative of Kṛṣṇa, to give us guidance and instruction. So then the last couple of verses we've been discussing, 2.8 and 2.9, then Arjuna sort of finishes his thought, and in 2.9 he basically tells Kṛṣṇa, Govinda, I shall not fight. And then this verse, 2.10, is still Sanjaya speaking. So he's narrating to Dhritarashtra what's been happening on the battlefield with Arjuna, or what he's been saying. Then he's essentially been quoting Arjuna. And then now Sanjaya says, Tamuvacha Hrishikeshaha Prasanniva Bharata Senayor Rubayor Majje Vishidanta Midam Vachaha. O descendant of Bharata, so this is the name of Arjuna, Bharata. At that time, Kṛṣṇa, Hrishikesha, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. So this is, as I said, this is the transition from Arjuna and Kṛṣṇa having a bit of a dialogue that's led up to the point of Arjuna surrendering to Kṛṣṇa. And now, from 2.11 on, Kṛṣṇa is about to speak his divine instructions to Arjuna. So the commentators on this verse put great emphasis upon on Kṛṣṇa's smiling. So we'll explore that a little bit as we study this verse a little more. So just some of the points from Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami's purport. So he makes the point, the talk was going on between intimate friends, namely the Hrishikesha and the Gudakesha. So Hrishikesha is the master of the senses, is Kṛṣṇa, the master and controller of the senses, and Gudakesha is the conqueror or lord of sleep or ignorance, and this is a name of Arjuna. So, and as Bhaktivedanta Swami says, they were intimate friends, like very close friends. And as I've mentioned before, they're actually cousins, brothers-in-law, and good friends. And this comes out in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna describes some of the intimate dealings that he and Govinda or Kṛṣṇa have had prior to this situation, where they would lie on the same bed together and talk together and make sarcastic comments between themselves and so on. So anyway, they were intimate friends. So as friends, both of them were on the same level, but one of them voluntarily became a student of the other. So again, always appreciating the free will of the living entity. Right, so within love is free will. If there was no free will, well then there cannot be love. Right? Love becomes meaningless. So there has to be free will. So the living entity, innate within us, we always have freedom of choice, freedom to choose to give our heart to Kṛṣṇa or to not give our heart to Kṛṣṇa. This is our free will. So Kṛṣṇa does not force us to love him, but Kṛṣṇa desires our love. Kṛṣṇa is complete within himself, but he wants our love. And so this is saving the falling souls is one of Kṛṣṇa's pastimes. So Kṛṣṇa speaks Bhagavad Gita for our benefit. It's like calling us to him. So like the Hare Krishna mantra, chanting Krishna's names, is like Krishna calling us and us calling Krishna. Like I think Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami once commented that it's like a cow bellowing for its calf. We should have this sort of, when you hear a calf that's been taken away from its mother, then you'll have the mother is calling for the cow, for the calf. And this goes on for days actually. When you take a calf away from the cow bellows for days, wanting the calf. And so this is kind of the one of the kind of moods we can have as we chant Krishna's names, calling out for Krishna. So we voluntarily become a student. So Arjuna has voluntarily become Krishna's student. And Krishna was smiling because a friend had chosen to become a disciple. So Krishna is happy. He's pleased that Arjuna has come to this point where now he is ready to listen to Krishna and is accepting Krishna as his spiritual teacher. So Krishna is smiling because he's happy. As Lord of all, he is always in the superior position as the master of everyone. And yet the Lord agrees to be a friend, a son, or a lover for a devotee who wants him in such a role. So this is one of the wonderful things of the aspects of the Gaudiya Vaishnava teachings is the relationship that Krishna has with his devotees. And these are relationships in love. It's like generally speaking, prior to the descent of Lord Chaitanya, most people were worshipping Krishna in the mood of Aishwarya or awe and reverence. Like very much servitude, but not servitude in a friendly way. It's servitude in a sort of very remote way. It's like Krishna or God is very, very much, in some sense, the way many Christians view God is like Krishna is Lord and Master, or God is Lord and Master, and I'm a very low servant. There may be some love there, but it's love in the mood of a servant. I was listening to Acharya Dasa's talk last night, and he was very nicely describing the different rasas or relationships that the soul has with Krishna, beginning at Santa Rasa or peacefulness or Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami often translated as. And so then there's the servant, the mood of the servant, Dasya Rasa, then friendship, parenthood, and then the intimate lover, right? Conjugal love. So in each of these, the amount of love increases. And so Krishna, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, as they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. So Krishna reciprocates in the same way that we approach him. So if we wish to, our mood, or as we develop in our spiritual life, as we begin to love Krishna in a certain rasa, then he reciprocates in that way. Of course, this is not something that's like a mental activity. Of course, it's activity of the soul. But so Krishna loves to be loved, and he loves to love us in these different loving relationships, as a conjugal lover, as being a child of the parents, and close friendship, fraternity, sakya, as a loving servant, or in neutrality, if that is how we like to relate. So Kṛṣṇa feels beholden to his devotees in that sense. He feels indebted, like as he says to the gopis, I can't repay your love. Let your own good deeds be the sufficient reward. So Kṛṣṇa feels in this way. So Lord Chaitanya, prior to Lord Chaitanya, very much there's the mood of Aishwarya, awe and reverence, like the Sri Vaishnavas, for example, their principal, one of their principal temples in Sri Rangam, where Lord Chaitanya visited, is like a massive Mahavishnu, and there's Lakshmi sitting on his chest on the marks of Srivatsa, the sitting place of Shri or Lakshmi Devi. And it's very much a mood of awe and reverence. So the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya, and is expanded upon by Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami, and the other Goswamis, but most particularly Srila Rupa Goswami. All the rasas or flavors of love for Kṛṣṇa and all these different moods is expounded upon and expanded upon. And so we're very fortunate to be the recipients of this wonderful transcendental knowledge of Kṛṣṇa and his relationships. So as Bhaktivedanta Swami says, or a lover for a devotee who wants him in such a role. So in other words, Kṛṣṇa reciprocates with how we are relating with him. But when he was accepted as the master, he at once assumed the role and talked with the disciple like the master, with gravity as it is required. So the word guru means heavy, heavy laden. So heavy laden with love for Kṛṣṇa, but heavy also in that you don't waste the time of the guru. When you become very aware of this. When you have the opportunity to deal with Srila Prabhupada, or rather he deals with you, you're just very aware that you are dealing with someone who's, you don't waste his time. What does he want? I do that, right? And you need to always be aware that it's unfortunately very easy to become an offender, and the danger of committing offenses. So the spiritual master is full of gravity, as it is required, as Bhaktivedanta Swami says. And then he makes the point, it appears that the talk between the master and the disciple was openly exchanged in the presence of both armies, so that all were benefited. So the talks of Bhagavad Gita are not for any particular person, society, or community, but they are for all, and friends or enemies are equally entitled to them. So I was talking to someone once, and I made the point that when Kṛṣṇa is speaking to Arjuna and expressing how much he loves Arjuna, you are so much loved by me, and I'm speaking to you because you are my devotee and my friend. It's not like, oh well, this only applies to Arjuna and doesn't apply to us. No, it applies to all of us. Kṛṣṇa loves all of us. Kṛṣṇa is like this huge reservoir of love, and we also are like a little particle of love, but our love is currently covered in and by Maya, that which is not, and transformed into lust. So instead of being bhakti or pure love for Krishna, or prema bhakti, pure love for Krishna, becomes transformed into lust, self-centered lust, where we're just trying to enjoy through our senses and exploit others. Our so-called love for others is conditional. It's conditional upon them loving us or them giving us what we want, and so on. So Krishna loves us. Sometimes it's difficult for us to get it, but this is Krishna's speaking. Bhagavad Gita is a manifestation of his love for us. Krishna sending us his pure lover, the spiritual master, to us is a manifestation of his love for us. So we should appreciate this love that we're being given. It's like the love is like, the mercy is like showering down upon us. And we are the recipients of it. It's coming down through the disciplic succession, through the parampara, one after another, which is what parampara means, one after the other. So coming down originally from Lord Brahma to Narada Muni, Vyasadeva, Madhvaracharya, and so on to the time of Lord Chaitanya, and through his intimate disciples, the Goswamis, then through the various acharyas coming since that time to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and our Srila Prabhupada. So we are the recipients of this mercy, and it's described in Bhagavatam that it's like handing down a mango. So it's like, and as the mango is handed down from one to the next, it's very carefully passed, and it becomes sweeter each time as it's tasted. So Shukadeva Goswami, Sukha means parrot, and so when a parrot actually pecks a mango, it actually gets sweeter. And so as Shukadeva Goswami spoke Srimad Bhagavatam, he'd heard it in the womb from Srila Vyasadeva, who was his father. So as Shukadeva passes on Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, then Bhagavatam becomes sweeter. And so all of these teachings that we're receiving through the disciplic succession coming down like the ripened fruit, a ripened mango. They get sweeter and sweeter as it is passed on from one spiritual master to the next. And Srila Prabhupada is very expert in taking these complex Sanskrit Vedic ideas and making them very easy for people in the West to understand. So just a few other points I would make. So Arjuna was feeling despondent. He's lamenting. And so referring again to the smile, Krishna is like smiling to encourage Arjuna. This is as the spiritual master encourages the disciple. through smiling, he'll give us some encouragement. He may smile to us, he may look at us. And so it's like when when Prabhupada comes to a gathering, of course he doesn't do it very much these days, but over the last few years at Vyasa Puj, Prabhupada's come. So when all the devotees are like waiting for Prabhupada, and then he comes, and then he'll look, and he'll just like wave, and we all become so enthused. We become so enthusiastic through the darshan or the vision of the spiritual master, his presence. The presence of the lover for Kṛṣṇa is enthusing. So actually in the Gayatri mantras, one of the words is prachodayat, and this means enthused, to be enthused. So the Guru Gayatri is to be enthused, that the spiritual master is enthused as he enthuses us. So there is this enthusiasm. So there's this loving relationship between the spiritual master and the disciple. And, the spiritual master encourages us and enthuses us, and the spiritual master becomes enthused as he sees us making progress in our spiritual relationship, in our spiritual life. Because the spiritual master is so full of mercy and compassion. We're in such a miserable situation, like the Jiva Atma in this world. It's like, oh my God, it's the most miserable situation. So as we make progress to become free from this mess we've got ourselves in, like literally it's a mess, like this body relationships with other people, anyway, I won't, I'll digress if I go into it too much. So anyway, the point is, Kṛṣṇa is smiling. He's happy that Arjuna is actually turned to him, because now Kṛṣṇa can actually help him and help him make a solution to this conundrum and this problem, difficult situation that Arjuna has found himself in. And so our spiritual master is also happy when he sees us moving forward in our spiritual life. So also the smile, Krishna's smile indicates, his affection for Arjuna. So he remains his friend, even though he's become his disciple. Still he's his friend, and so the disciple sees the spiritual master as the dearmost friend, like in the Sri Guru Charana Padma prayers. It refers to the spiritual master in this way, as our well-wishing friend. In fact, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami and also Srila Prabhupada, they sign their letters, "Your ever well-wisher." They're always wishing us well. So one of the words in Bhagavad Gita that Kṛṣṇa, when he's describing himself, describes himself as Suhrit, the which is the well-wishing friend, your ever well-wisher. So I need to wrap it up here as usual. I've gone on too long. Please forgive me. But Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentary, he says, he's basically saying what Kṛṣṇa is saying. You've shown such lack of judgment, and so Vishwanath is making the point. Well, Kṛṣṇa can actually he could laugh at Arjuna, as a friend, because he could actually put Arjuna into an ocean of embarrassment for his unworthy actions, like what Arjuna is doing. This, basically talking about leaving the battlefield and going to become a beggar. It's laughable. It's ridiculous. It's madness, for Arjuna to even be talking like this in the middle of a battlefield when everything so much is weighing on him, and suddenly he's talking about, it's just laughable. If it wasn't laughable, you'd have to cry, kind of thing, So it's like, but because now that Arjuna is a student, laughing would be improper. So like if Kṛṣṇa laughed at Arjuna, it wouldn't be proper, because now he's become his disciple. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes it that Kṛṣṇa suppressed the laugh by closing his lips. So instead, he slightly smiled. So instead of laughing, he's sort of controlling the laugh to just make it a smile. And he takes this from the Sanskrit, which is prasanniva. So Srila Baladeva Vidyabhusana's commentary and explanation of the smile was very similar to Vishwanath's. And Sridhara Swami, the Sri Vaishnava commentator on Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, and Lord Chaitanya was very very much like Sridhar Swami's commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, and actually chastised Vallabhacharya for thinking he could do a better job of Sridhara Swami. So anyway, Sridhara Swami says that, oh, Kṛṣṇa spoke with a beaming countenance. So I think I'll leave it there. That's all the main points. So we've now finished these first 10 verses of Bhagavad Gita, which are like the transition from chapter 1 to chapter 2. And next week we can look forward to what are you doing? So next week we can look forward to I'm actually going to give a bit of an overview of the chapter 2, and then we'll start discussing the sequence of verses from text 11 to text 30, where Kṛṣṇa describes how we're not the body, and that therefore Arjuna has no reason to lament. Anyway, so thank you very much, and if you're so giving these Bhagavad Gita classes each week in this Bhagavad Gita group, and then also on Friday evenings in Healing Chant 108. So you're welcome to, if you can send a membership request to them and they'll admit you as a member. Anyway, so thank you very much. Hari Bol. You're all adjusted.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Nityananda Hiranyakashipu
Tanuvringa
Keshavajita Narari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare
Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare
Lord Nrsimhadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Lord Nrsimhadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Lord Nrsimhadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj
Jai Lord Nrsimhadev Jai Prahlad Maharaj Haribo Kṛṣṇa.
Haribo. Namaste everybody. Hare Krishna.